So Carson had the same reaction I did. Google, their messaging strategy is so confusing. I, as a Google Voice user and Google Fi user, have been using Hangouts because it's the only messaging platform you can use on Google that works on iPhone, it works on the desktop, it works everywhere.
Yep.
And that's why I
text
use
messages.
it.
Yeah,
it's ugly. It's not a great message, but you use it too, I guess.
Yeah. And I hate the iOS app because it's so slow and frustrating. But because it's so useful, and because so many of my friends use it, I stick with it.
I have it on every phone, and I have it on every desktop. I have it. You could see on my my Chrome. I have a Chrome extension for it. It's the closest thing Google has, Android has, to Apple Messages.
Yeah.
Where it's cross-platform. And it's got a desktop. I think having a desktop, was because they're going to take SMS support out of it.
I made the mistake of porting my phone number that everybody in the world has over to Google Voice.
Right.
Which has just been a catastrophe.
Oh,
and it's
really?
Like, yeah, and they came out with a new app, and literally the new app on the iPhone, what it does is when you hit the button that summons the like basically the dial pad, that is a crash the app button. I've installed and uninstalled probably 20 times. So I'm literally getting a new phone, which I'm due for, and switching providers in order to finally claw my phone number back from Google Voice. And they got Hangouts. Do they still have Google Talk? They have
this is part of the phase out of Google Talk.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
They did say that if you use Google Voice or Google Fi, which I do, that you will still have SMS support. But you got to think that the days are numbered.
Why
They're
do they
trying to
need
move everybody
9
to Android Messenger. I don't know.
Telephony products, right?
That's what the problem is, right? They're trying to do a little bit of a culling. It just might not have been the one that they should have given the axe.
Allo has Google Assistant built in. Make Allo your SMS choice.
Well, that's where this is going. They're trying to turn Allo into the consumer
But it doesn't do
app,
SMS yet.
Well, not yet, but it will someday. And Hangouts, which is what consumers were using and people were fairly happy with, which was a decent product and one of their most popular messaging, I think, options outside of maybe like Gmail.
Because you could use it everywhere.
They're trying to pivot that into an enterprise product, right?
It's part of G Suite.
Exactly. So then they're sunsetting Google Talk, and now what you're going to have in Gmail is going to be rebranded as Hangouts, which is kind of silly because it's always worked with the Hangouts app anyways, so no one will even be able to pick that up. So they're literally like sunsetting Talk, sunsetting parts of Hangouts to pivot you into enterprise, trying to build up Allo, and then there's messaging inside of Google Voice too. So it's a total cluster.
And this is one of the smartest companies in the world that allowed this to happen by launching 19 products. Well, and then I love the fact that we're talking again, this is Google. They are the smartest company in the world.
They are.
And they're saying, well, they haven't gotten around to SMS yet. It's like, that's 1993 technology, isn't it?
That's right.
And they're like, oh, we can't quite do that yet. It's 9 of our telephony products, just not the 10th one
This is one of the things that I both love and hate about Google is like, they're so willing to just do this out in the open and just say, let's see if it works. Like, let's just build this crazy thing. And like, I don't know, like, or, Nexus Q, Google Glass, like, let's just mess around with messaging. And they just don't think things all the way through. And it's fun because you get to see these decisions and these mistakes and we all get to learn together. But at the same time, if you use this stuff,
fun when you can't
it totally
succeed.
screws you over. Yeah, exactly.
And Google Glass, they're giving you something that you didn't already use. They're not taking away your eyes and giving you Google Glass and you're forced to have to use them.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing.
That would be
I'm sure it came up at the
That would have been a bad thing.
Can we take people's eyes?
Yeah, just stick this.
Particularly
they'll
if the
survive.
Supreme
Well, they are
Court
working
went
on
the wrong way.
They are working on the contact lenses.
The contact lenses, which will probably fire.
But with this, I think part of what the issue is, just from speaking with people who work on messaging products, over the years and reporting on these sorts of things, is that I think they really see that there is this important thing happening in messaging that they weren't able to key into, and that's really. A lot of apps like Line, like building an operating system.
Well, but that's what the Rich
it.
Communication Services,
exactly.
RCS, is all about.
Yeah.
Google bought a company called Jibe, which had this technology, and they're trying to convince the carriers and all the users to, and by the way, Android Messenger supports RCS, to move to this RCS standard, which would replace SMS standard, do much of the same things that Apple's Messages does.
And this move is almost an Apple-esque move where they're like, let's just go to USB Type-C. Like, even though you're still using that other thing.
Let's
just go to
force
RCS.
your hand.
Exactly.
Part of the problem is that carriers have to agree.
Yep. And
carriers have their own agendas. Sprint's using it, sort of. it's kind of a mess.
Yeah. To a certain extent, there's another part here that I think is important is that they want people to take on the Google Assistant and messaging with it and having that. And Allo, to a certain extent, is a little bit of an experiment, and they don't want to alienate the people who love and use Hangouts with that.
Well, then kill Allo, kill Hangouts, right. Make Android Messenger messages do everything it's supposed to do. And I think that's their goal. But there's
the way that they do it, and I think that a lot of companies, and I'll just talk right to the camera, companies, listen to me, tech companies, once people are comfortable using your technology and like it, small, incremental changes to the better. Don't suddenly just take away people's 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Just don't take it away. Give us a better option. Once we get comfortable, slowly shift the call. Because people get really angry. You use something, you're comfortable with it, it works. Then you change it, and then we end up with that anxiety, that tech anxiety of, is it going to work? What's going to happen? Am I going to have to change everyone over to it? And we're unsure of that, and that causes a lot of distress. It's unnecessary.
Nothing a sparkly phone case can't fix.
That is true. That is true.
I'm still getting over the loss of
you're using that to hypnotize
Google Reader.
Oh, you're still getting over the loss of Google Reader.
Still getting over the loss of Google Reader. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm still missing Wave.
Wave, right? Yeah.
All right. Enough of that.